It is common knowledge for cinematographers and photographers to know that what's the most important is not the camera, but what's in front of it. Now, this is a common quote that is stated to add to the idea that gear doesn't always matter. But what people disregard a lot of the time with this quote is that the lens is something in front of the camera, meaning to say that the lens is the most important aspect when it comes to imagery. But then again, people use modern cameras with soft vintage lenses and still create stunning work. So the question here is, what's more important, the camera or the lens? And the answer is a bit more complicated than it looks. We also need to understand that both the camera and the lens are complementary. One cannot live without the other. Ideally, the best would be to have a good camera and a good lens, but sometimes that isn't in our budget, and so we need to choose which one's more important for us, the body or the lens. We need to understand that the camera body is the foundation of where the image starts. Some may think that what's more important would be to have a sharper lens, but in actuality, a higher megapixel count or sharper resolution actually adds up to better image quality than a sharper lens. Having a softer lens usually is the equivalent of having a lens that is just slightly out of focus all the time, but for the most part, if you pixel peep a high resolution image with a soft lens versus a low resolution image with a sharp lens, the high resolution image will always be sharper digitally regardless. A better camera body also has better dynamic range. The camera sensor is responsible for how much information it captures. Better camera sensors usually capture more information in both the shadows and the highlights of an image. Another thing to take note is the color of the sensor. Sometimes it's not about how pleasing the colors are, it's also about how much color information that your sensor has. The more color information gives it more information to fix it or change it in post. Post-processing mostly comes down to the sensor and never the lens. Lastly, the functionality of the body is something that can be overlooked when researching this topic. We need to understand that if you upgrade a camera body, you're also changing the functionality and the feel of how your camera works. This may include more buttons, a fully articulating screen, different dials, anything that could really help you be more efficient. Now, when we switch from a bad lens to a good lens, for the most part the functionality of the lens will still be similar. Although there might be slight differences here and there, for the most part it will still be the same thing. Now, the thing with lenses is that lenses are known for being timeless. A good example is the popularity of vintage lenses in general. The fact is, a good lens today will still be a good lens tomorrow, and the same applies to bad lenses. If you have a very soft lens today, it will never get sharper tomorrow. Now, the lens is responsible for the look and feel of your image. For the most part, when we're talking about better lenses, a lot of time we're talking about prime lenses, and prime lenses are known to have a wider aperture, meaning to say they will have more shallow depth of field. If you have a wider aperture, most likely you'll be able to shoot better low light in both cases, regardless of if you have a bad camera or a good camera. Now, we need to understand that lenses are where the creative side comes from. This is why most people need a collection of lenses and can't just live with one lens. That is because lenses are where the creative aspect of imagery comes into play. Focal length is the most important aspect when it comes to creating an image, as that is the foundation of composition. So sometimes it's not about having a better lens, but just having the right focal length for the right job. For example, ultra-wide-angle lenses are known for shooting real estate, as they can cover a wide area in a very small space. But for portraiture, a short telephoto lens is usually more ideal. Another thing to think about are lens defects. It's not just the sharpness of the lens that can change, but it's also the chromatic aberration and the vignetting. Now, usually these are very small defects, and from far away they aren't very noticeable. But when pixel peeping, all of these combined can be seen pretty much everywhere, and those are things that most likely a better lens will deal with much better. So when answering the question, is it better to have a better camera or a better lens, the answer really more relies on what you need the most. If post-production workflow is a nightmare for you, then getting a better camera body might be the best option. Now, to be fair though, if you are required to always fix something in post, then maybe you should work on mastering your exposure triangle before buying the latest and greatest camera. On the other hand, if you're unable to acquire a certain look or style, then maybe buying a lens is the better buy. Some lenses are just much better for a certain type of work, and buying the right lens for the right job can make all the difference. Understanding what the camera does and what the lens does can really help you to decide on your next purchasing decision.